Hi everyone, welcome to S4 Sharnya Science classes. I hope you all are able to follow my videos. If it is really helpful for you, please support me by liking and sharing with your friends. If anybody still remind to subscribe my channel, then please subscribe it also.
Hi everyone, today we are going to discuss about the phylum Platyhelminthes. We have already discussed about phylum Porifera, phylum Cnidaria, phylum Ctenophora, and this is the fourth phylum, phylum Platyhelminthes. From the name itself, you will have a clear idea what you mean by Platyhelminthes. Platy means, you can see here, which is actually the flat, right? So it is also known as the flat worms. Helminth means worms. So Platyhelminthes are flatworms, right? What are the general characteristics of flatworms? Flatworms, if you are checking that, their organization, grades of organization, you can see that they are somewhat higher organisms. They have organ or organ system level of organization. We have learned that Porifera, right? Then the Cnidaria, right? And then Ctenophora. These all are the lower organisms which have cellular level, tissue level, and somewhat you can see that tissue levels of organization. Here you can see that when we reach in that Platyhelminthes, it reached in the organ or organ system level of organization, right? So they can see that somewhat organ formation also here there, right? So you can see that some of the examples जैसे tapeworm, or you can see that the planaria, these all are the examples of Platyhelminthes. Here you can see that if you are going for the symmetry, right? So here these organisms showing bilateral symmetry, right? Porifera, they are asymmetrical. Cnidaria, you can see that they are radial symmetrical. Even Ctenophora, that's also radially symmetrical. From here you can see that Platyhelminthes from till chordata, they are showing bilateral symmetric mostly, and there are some exceptions that we already learned about the echinodermata, right? That we will discuss in the phylum echinodermata. Anyway, Platyhelminthes showing a bilateral symmetry here, right? Now, what about their germ layers? They are actually the triploblastic organisms. That means they have three layers of the germ layers are there. Ectoderm is also there, endoderm is there, and in between there you can see that the mesoderm is also present, so that they all are triploblastic organisms. Now, where you can find a Platyhelminthes? Mostly the habitat or habit we are telling, they are mainly aquatic organisms hai, or you can see that they are as a endoparasites also, you can see that. Some organisms are there, very few, they are actually the free living one, right? So here you can see the tapeworm, which is an ectoparasite, endoparasite, not ecto, endoparasite, right? Inside our body, you can see that as a endoparasite, you can see that tapeworm will there. And one of the example of free living Platyhelminthes, that's actually the planaria. You can see that in dirty water and all, you can see that the planaria will be present in that. And as a parasitic forms also present here. Mainly we told that they are aquatic, right? So you can see that endoparasites also there, right? Free living varieties are there, free living, and even you can see that parasites are also there, right? So parasites ke example hai liver fluke, right? So these all are different Platyhelminthes, which is actually as a endoparasite, as a free living organism, and as a parasite you can see, right? If you are checking their digestive system, they have an incomplete digestive system. That means they have only one opening, one single opening, which is act as a mouth and anus. So that's why it is doesn't have a complete digestive system. Still they are having an incomplete digestive system, right? If you are checking their respiratory system, these organisms actually doesn't have any respiratory system. Respiratory system is absent here, right? Now circulatory system, again circulatory system is also absent in type of organisms, right? If you are going for the reproductive method, right, you can see that these organisms can show sexual as well as asexual mode of reproduction, right? Asexual mode of reproduction mainly through the fragmentation. Maybe you have learned in the smaller classes about the planaria, which is showing highest level of regeneration, right? So it's actually not simply fragmentation we are saying, it's actually regeneration, regeneration in the sense that itself, that's an absolute correct word, we can say that, right? Fragmentation in planaria, actually it has the highest degree of regeneration capacity. Rather than fragmentation, here the most appropriate word is regeneration. If the planaria is cut into smaller pieces, each piece will form the remaining pieces and form into the complete organism. Here you can say that the head part is there, the remaining part they formed and they will form the complete organism. The tail part is there, head formed and they complete into the complete organisms, right? So this is the thing we have to remember. They are planaria is the organism which is showing highest degree of regeneration, right? And what about their sexes? Here you can see that sexes are present in one organism itself. That's why they are called as hermaphrodite. The male and female sex organs are present in the single organism, right? So here you can see that it is present inside their organism itself, and that's why it is showing internal fertilization, right? And their development also indirect, right? So you can see that there will be larval stages vagera, like that only it will develop. That's why the development is indirect. And they have different many larval stages are also there. And they have some unique features. What are the unique features? These are actually, you can see that unsegmented, that means metamorphism, metamorphism show nahi karti hai, right? So they are actually dorsoventrally, you can see that flattened hai. तो आपने देख लो that ना dorsoventrally means that ना आगे के पीछे तरफ, दैट मीन्स अपसाइड डाउन में वो फ्लैट ऑर्गेनिज्म है, इसलिए तो उसका नाम है फ्लैट वर्म्स, राइट? बट देयर आर सम टैप वर्म्स विच इज़ एक्चुअली नॉट एट ऑल कम्प्लीटली फ्लैट, राइट? तो बाकी सारे जो प्लैटीहेल्मिंथेस है वो सारा डॉर्सोवेंट्रली फ्लैटेंड है, इसलिए प्लैटीहेल्मिंथेस बताती है, राइट? तो हमने हियर यू कैन सी दैट कुछ टैपवर्म्स होती है, उसमें यू कैन सी दैट सेगमेंटेशन, यू कैन सी दैट्स व्हाई वी आर टेलिंग एक्सेप्ट सम टैपवर्म्स यू कैन सी दैट ऑल अदर ऑर्गेनिजम्स आर डॉर्सोवेंट्रली फ्लैटेंड एंड ऑल्सो not at all segmented, right? So here you can see that these are the tapeworms. You can see that some degree of segmentation you can see here, right? And other very important feature जो बताती है here the excretion, right? So here there is, we already told the respiratory system तो नहीं है, circulatory system भी नहीं है, but they are actually showing a special type of excretion by a special cell which is called flame cells. इसका नाम flame cells है because दिखने में you can see that there will be a flame, right? Flame like structure होती है, right? So here the bunches of cilia which will look like a flame like that, right? So that's why these cells are called flame cells, right? So the excretion of platyhelminthes is through flame cells, और इसको protonephridia भी कहलाती है, right? So these are the structure of flame cells, right? So entirely you can see that the small flame cells are there, so through which the excretion is happening, right? And another unique feature जो बताती है, some type of platyhelminthes like that tapeworm में you can see that there are special type of what will you say suckers and hooks are actually present. Hooks you can see that it will be actually like a hook, pricking hook, it will be attached to the host body, and also it is actually like जैसे कि हमारा प्लास्टिक की suckers होती है, right? जो चिपका कर that ना it will वो wall में it will be stick and it can easily grow there, right? So like that hooks and suckers are present in the case of platyhelminthes, right? And you can see that some absorb the nutrients from the host through their body surface, right? So these suckers and hooks are actually helping for them to suck and stick onto the host body and absorb the nutrients from them. The main examples जो बोलती है that's actually you can see here tapeworm और pork tapeworm जो बोल रही है Taenia solenium, right? Taenia solium, that's actually very important example of flatworms, right? So here another example is the fasciola, which is known as the liver fluke, and the very important example which is the planaria. So these all are the some of the common example of platyhelminthes, right? I hope you understand it clearly. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Hope you all understood this video. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.